Good evening, Love Ministries. Thanks for joining us here in Houston and around the nation. Tonight, we're doing something completely different. I have with me a noted person in the medical industry and endocrinologist. He is known for working with the SARS virus, has worked with the Center of Diseases. He is renowned in his field. And tonight we're going to answer your questions live on this COVID-19 that is going on in our country. Many of you have sent in questions. So many people have been crowned with fear over this. So we believe the best way to eradicate fear is to give you facts and information because it's the truth that sets you free. So we have Dr. Clifford Johnson with us tonight. Welcome, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you, Bishop. I'm
I'm going
very
to
happy to
start
be here.
right in. Very good. We are more than happy to have you because you have real information. So many of us are dealing with speculation on what the news is saying, on what family members are saying, on what people are saying. And to have someone right in our midst that can answer our questions directly and give us real information is such a blessing to us. So I want to say thank you and God bless you right from the start. Now, I'm going to start out with one of our questions that has come in. It says, if you had COVID-19 virus, can you get the virus again?
Well, that's a very good question, and that is one question that our scientists and medical personnel are working on to try to determine if this is possible. Now, you know that this is a new virus, and so since it's new, there's a lot that's unknown. They know that everybody that gets the COVID-19 able to make antibodies, but they don't know how long these antibodies last, and they don't know if you can be reinfected, and if you are reinfected, how long does that last, and are you still protected? So that's a difficult question at this time because they're still studying it.
Wow, that it's just good to know that. My goodness. Another question that came in, how likely is the virus to come back this fall? And we've been hearing that from everybody.
Yes, it is likely to come back this fall if, in fact, it even leaves. We don't know that it's going to leave. But if it does, it's likely to come back. You know, it we have the flu, and the flu has what they call the seasonal periodicity with a repetitive monotonous cycle. So the flu comes back every year at a certain season, and we kind of know when it's coming. And but right now we don't know about the coronavirus, whether it has a season or whether it just comes in and just hangs around. But yes, it's likely to come back. And then if it does, it makes it even more difficult because then we have a flu season and we have a COVID-19 season. And what happens if you get both? So I suppose it's very important for us to even think about or to go see our doctors and see if we're eligible to get a an influenza vaccine.
All right, that's a question that I saw on the list that had come in, and you've already opened that. So let me just go right to that. It says the projected time, this question reads the projected timeline for a proven vaccine is 18 to 24 months away. Should we continue to wear gloves? Should we continue to wear masks? And after the vaccine is approved, should everyone take it?
Well, again, another good question. And you know, whenever there's a vaccine available, and if it's deemed to be safe by the FDA, I usually get that vaccine because I've learned over the years that our nation, when we started using vaccines, a lot of infectious diseases went away, and our children lived longer, and we lived longer. So I think it's a good thing if there's a good, safe vaccine. Yes, I think we should all try to take that vaccine. That would also help us develop herd immunity. And that herd immunity, if enough people get vaccinated, guess what? We'll protect those people who are unable to be vaccinated, like people with immune deficiencies or cancer and other conditions where they can't be vaccinated. So the herd immunity is very important. And so, yes, vaccination is important.
Wow. Now, do you honestly think, and I'm asking for your opinion because I trust your insight so much, do you think they can honestly come up with a proven vaccine in this amount of time?
There's been some speculation that they can do it quicker than they normally do because they have a template. The SARS disease, where they were working on a vaccine that came from civet cats in Asia, that SARS vaccine that they're working on helps them to maybe skip a step and move right on to the next step and so shorten the time period. But at any rate, it's still going to take some time because you got to do animal studies, you got to do studies in people, and you got to look at safety. And they're not going to give you a vaccine before they determine that it's safe to give it to you. So, yeah, I think we may be a little bit quicker, but not as quick as people might think.
Wow. Now, this is a really good question, I think. Even though Houston was not hit as hard as New York, should we still be concerned?
Definitely, we should be concerned because Houston is presently ramping up its testing, and when you test, you find cases. So there are actually probably a lot more cases out there than we have found, just like in the whole state of Texas. When we ramp up that testing, we will find more cases. So I think we need to be protecting ourselves for as long as possible until we get a vaccine.
My goodness. Is it true? Oh, ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you, if you have a live question, email your question to victory@lmfc.org because we'll take live questions. The questions we're giving Dr. Johnson have already come in. But you maybe have just joined us. You may be just coming on. Someone could have just invited you. If you have a question, just email us at victory@lmfc.org and we'll be able to read your question right here live on the air. Thank you so much. Another question that came in: is it true that the virus is affecting more African Americans? And if so, why?
Well, we have a area of epidemiology called social epidemiology, and this is probably more of a question that falls in that area because we talk about intrinsic and extrinsic factors. We talk about stress and stressors, the effects of institutions and other things on people's lives. Now we know that a lot of African Americans live in densely populated areas, and so they have that closeness. They may live in apartments or houses where they can't really isolate the way that they need to isolate. So that creates another problem. And then there's all those racial residential segregation things that occur in our lives. But then we have the food deserts, so people can't get the proper nutrition they need. So we have diabetes and high blood pressure and high cholesterol and all these things. There's so many things. The work circumstance. Many of us are working in areas that are considered essential. So we have to go to work. We can't work from home. If you're a janitor, you can't work from home. And so there are other areas there that would cause us to be more at risk, and lack of paid sick leave, lack of medical insurance, and then some of us are just afraid of doctors and afraid to go to the hospital, especially black men. That's why it's good they have wives can push them to go, and sometimes they wait too late. So we're hoping that these factors, and I've been watching CNN and all those shows. There are people that are working on this issue to try to improve things for the African American community.
And Love Ministries Even though we're not a totally African American community, we are a predominantly African American community, and that's why we're here live this afternoon. That's why Dr. Johnson has taken his time to come and to study your questions and come up with answers that will help us, because we want to affect our community. We want to affect the lives of people, not only for the kingdom of God, but we want them to live to come into the kingdom. We want them to live to be born again. And the Bible says that he came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. So abundant life is health. Abundant life is restoration. And that means we as people have to educate ourselves on how we eat, what we do. This is our temple. This is our body. We're only getting one. So it is our job to maintain a healthy body. It is our job to renew our mind and renew our thinking about how we eat and what we do, especially as it affects our children and the next generation. Because Dr. Johnson, I know you see this all the time. We just permeate the same diseases over and over again in our community.
Yes, we do.
And so education is key. Now, here's another good question. And don't forget, send your questions in. Is the 6 foot reason because the virus jumps from one person to another?
Yes, it is essentially. The virus does spread from one person to another. But we know now that the virus is airborne, that it's spread in droplets. And originally they said it can be spread by coughing and talking and sneezing a distance of 6 feet. So that's why they came up with that. But they've done some studies in the laboratory and they've seen a distance of 13 feet. And in one instance it went as far as 27 feet. So yeah, that is why they came up with that requirement that people keep a 6 foot distance.
Now, this is a really good question here. What is an effective way to ask people to keep their distance?
Yeah, how do you do that? I saw something recently where a guy was attacked because somebody got in his space. So you don't want to provoke them. You want to be pleasant. You want to be nice and talk to the people in a very calm manner. Don't provoke them. You might just say that, please, sir, would you mind removing yourself from my space because I'm considering that keeping myself safe from the virus. And sometimes that would work, and then it may not. If not, you make sure you walk away. Because nowadays you don't know who's
Exactly.
carrying a weapon, whatever. So don't take any risk in doing this.
I've heard the children lately. My little grandson was out front the other day, and the little girl from across the street came over, and she said, she got right to the middle of the curb, and she said, "Can I come play with you, Jacob? I'm so tired of social distancing." Now, this is a 5 year old saying, "I'm so tired of social distancing." And Jacob said, "Well, I'm not afraid of the virus. You can come on over if you want." And so the two children, I guess they were giving us a little background. Children at 5 years old now know what social distancing is. And Jacob came
Right.
back at her with he wasn't afraid of the virus. She could come on over. So I guess we have to use terms like social distancing. And so, next question. Let me just go to the next question. Why could the coronavirus respread again, or what does the flu have to do with certain seasons? And I think you almost answered that, but I see it's come in from someone else just again.
Would you take that again?
Yes, why could coronavirus respread, or why does the flu come in certain seasons?
Or why does it respread? Well,
Yes,
because coughing and sneezing and so forth. So it's going to spread, and I don't know what they mean by respread. Um, what is it? Respread? I don't know. It's going to spread.
Um,
If that's what it
it's
does,
going to
it is
spread.
a yes. It's going to spread. That's what it does. That's how it continues to live because viruses can't live outside the body. They need to be inside a cell so they can reproduce itself. So yes, it's going to spread and it's going to. That's how it lives. That's how it maintains itself in nature.
We just
And
had
the
another
flu,
question come in live. Yeah.
oh,
Oh, go ahead about the flu. Yes.
yeah, there was a question there about the flu. I think we
Yes.
kind of answered that about the flu, how and why it comes back in various seasons and all.
Very good. All right. It says here now, this just came in. If we are a carrier but have no symptoms, should we get tested to protect our loved ones?
Most definitely. Many people are carriers and don't show any symptoms. And some people, even once they get the disease, they may not be carriers, but they may not show symptoms for several days, like 5 days or more, before they. And during that time that they're not symptomatic, they may be spreading the virus. So, but everybody should be tested if they can be tested.
All right, now that opens up a whole other can of worms. Here in Houston, we don't if you don't have symptoms, you're practicing social distancing, we're staying at home, we're restricting our outgo. Should we still go and be tested?
No, not at this time because there are not enough tests for everybody. So they probably don't want people just coming in to be tested. I just heard somebody say on the national news that we have enough tests for everybody, so everybody can get tested if they want to. But that's not true. I think we all know that. So, but
We know.
so no, if you're not showing any symptoms and you're feeling fine, just stay at home and self isolate and maybe talk to your doctor if you're uh, concerned because your mind can play tricks on you too, so you want to not have that weighing in on you if you're worried about
Well, that goes to the next question. It's almost like you could read my list of questions here that have come in. And the question was, what are some pointers for emotionally coming back together again? And I don't even know whether you want to go into that can of worms tonight, but what are some
it.
pointers?
What are some pointers? I don't know. That's more in your line, Bishop, to discuss that. What other pointers coming back? I don't know. You
I saw
gotta you
that when I
gotta, you gotta be strong. You gotta pray, and you got to just resume your life and call people, talk to people. Don't just sit and be alone. That's a key right there is to start communicating again and
exactly.
at least be with family members now. But get on the phone and call people that you haven't talked to in a while, and so forth. And that will help you to come back
Well, even in the emotional point, and I see how you threw it right back in my ballpark. When I was reading that question, I was like, is this for Dr. Johnson or is this for me? But I know I am not a texter. Everyone knows I'm not a text person. And during this pandemic, I have sent more text messages than I've ever sent. I mean, personal text messages I've sent to people. Some people I don't know personally. Everyone that I know personally has gotten a text message from me. All our church members and everything have gotten text messages from me just because I know you hear my voice on Sunday. I know, I'm doing conference calls and Zoom and all of that. But I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you. And I'm getting text messages from people I went to high school with and college with and all around the country. And people are checking on each other. So I'm seeing this as what the enemy meant for evil is pushing us. God is moving it to good because we are reconnecting with family. We are talking with people. Even in our homes, we're talking more than we have at other times. And as you just said, it's for our emotional well-being, because if your body's healthy and your mind is all jacked up, what's the purpose? So, do you have any other questions, Dr. Johnson? Because I think I've exhausted all the ones that have come in. Oh, hold on, hold on. We just got two more. It says, is it
Oh,
true that the virus can live on surfaces such as glass, metal, cardboard, etc., for several days? And if so, should we wipe off a purchase from the store before we bring it into our home? Excellent question.
yeah, that's a good question. And this is the way I'd look at a virus or anything that's alive. It needs moisture to survive. And if it doesn't have that moisture, it's going to dry up. So I would think that there are certain things, like if it's a metal surface or something of that nature, it may last on that surface a little longer. If it's on a porous surface like paper or a cloth or cardboard, it may not last as long. It may be absorbed in that that particular kind of material, and so it may not last so long. There's no moisture for it to stay alive in. So I think that is the thing that you have to look at. I think the things that we have to consider uh, disinfecting is just those things like doorknobs and so forth, and not worrying so much about bags and things.
I got you. All right.
But
So you do
but
recommend.
we have to go back. We have to go back to those stressful things. If this is bothering you to the extent you can't sleep at night, then sure, go ahead and disinfect those things. It can't hurt.
It can't hurt. All right. So you do think that we should disinfect our doorknobs and our light switches and things like that
Yes,
on a daily, would you say daily basis
yes, you got to, or more.
or more? All right.
Because you
Okay.
can reinfect
All
those
right.
things every time.
Well, now we just got another question. Questions are just coming in. The people are loving this, Dr. J. Why does the virus mutate?
Well, that's the way for it to maintain itself in nature. And that's what it does in order for it to find a new species. It might start out in a bat, and then it may mutate and move to another type of animal. So that's why we get these zoonoses, the diseases that are transmissible between animals and man. And so we get these diseases because the virus has to mutate to maintain itself in nature, to continue to live. So it's going to have to change itself in some form for attachments to cells and entering cells and so forth. So that's why it mutates.
My goodness. Well, I think we have exhausted tonight's questions. And if we were in a live place, I'd say let's everybody give Dr. Clifford Johnson a round of applause, because he has certainly blessed our life tonight with information that was invaluable, especially when it helps us to think correctly so that we can move correctly and we can walk in faith and exercise our faith in what we believe. Dr. Johnson, I cannot thank you enough for making yourself available to us. You are a part of Love Ministries, but you did not have to make yourself available to us on this, and you did and have continued to do so. And so we thank God for you. We are blessed by your presence and extremely blessed tonight by your knowledge and your wisdom. I believe we'll be doing this again, because I'm under the impression that this may go a little longer than we're planning on it going. But I'm going to say to our audience, thank you for your questions. Thank you for your concerns. If you still continue to send them in after we're gone off the air, we will forward them to Dr. Johnson and he can get back to you with answers. We can post them either on the website. This will be reviewed and reviewed. It'll be right on YouTube. It's live on YouTube now and on our live stream. Send your friends to this. Let them see what intelligent Christian professionals are saying about this so that they can know which way to go and not be moved and swayed in an avenue of fear, because my people perish for lack of knowledge. So, Dr. Johnson, you've certainly given us knowledge tonight, and we are grateful and we are thankful. So, we're going to say good night. God bless you until we come back again. Act or fear COVID 19. Good night.